page 128. Yedid nefesh av harachaman, Yedid nefesh av harachaman, Mishoch avdecha, Eretz onecha, Mishoch avdecha, Yai lai 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 lai, Eretz onecha, Yarutz avdecha, Kemo ayal, Yishtachave, Yai lai lai, Yai lai 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 lai, Emul hadarecha, Yarutz avdecha, Kemo ayal, Yishtachave, Yai lai lai, Yai lai 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 lai, Emul hadarecha, Yedid nefesh av harachaman, Yedid nefesh av harachaman, Mishoch avdecha, Eretz onecha, Mishoch avdecha, Yai lai 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 lai, Eretz onecha.
Shabbat Shalom. We welcome those of you in the sanctuary and those of you who are streaming live as well on this beautiful Shabbat evening. As we continue the lighting of the Shabbat candles on pages 120, 121, I'd like to call upon Lori Gann and her youngest little boy, Matt Gann, page 120, 121.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we be our lives give light to all who behold us. Their brightness remind us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so we may in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you,
Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with the mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
And now that we've welcomed Shabbat, I invite you to welcome the person next to you, wish them a Shabbat Shalom, wave at someone else, wish them a Shabbat Shalom.
I know, why?
Page 130, 130.
לכו נרננה, לאדוני נריע, לצור אישנו, לצור אישנו. 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 נקדמה פניו בתודה, בזמירות נריע לו. נקדמה פניו בתודה, בזמירות נריע לו. לכו נרננה, לאדוני נריע, לצור אישנו, לצור אישנו. לכו נרננה, לאדוני נריע, לצור אישנו, לצור אישנו. נקדמה פניו בתודה, בזמירות נריע לו. נקדמה פניו בתודה, בזמירות נריע לו. לכו נרננה, לאדוני נריע, לצור אישנו, לצור אישנו. לכו נרננה, לאדוני נריע, לצור אישנו, לצור אישנו.
We continue with Lecha Dodi on page 138.
לך דודי לקראת קלי, אללי, 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 פני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלי, אללי, 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 פני שבת לקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת קלי, אללי, 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 פני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלי, אללי, 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 פני שבת לקבלה. לקראת שבת לכוון אליך, כי מקור הברכה, בראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת קלי, אללי, 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 פני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלי, אללי, 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 פני שבת לקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בורך קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת קלי, אללי, 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 פני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלי, אללי, 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 פני שבת לקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוכל
Page 142, we continue with Shalom Aleichem. We're doing like all the top 10 of Shabbat hits. It's the best.
seems
Yeah, it's
appropriate.
fabulous. Yeah, very appropriate.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem Leshalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Barchuni Leshalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzedchem Leshalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We continue with Baruch Hu on page 146. Please rise if you're able to physically or in spirit. Please be seated. We're going to do things a little crazy today.
It's the week of Purim.
It's a week of Purim. Should I read this before? Is that what you meant?
Yes.
Page 149. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, my beloved, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, my beloved, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim.
Baruch atah Adonai אשר בדברו מעריב ערבים, אשר בדברו מעריב ערבים, בחוכמה פותח שערים, ובתבונה משנה עתים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים, במשמרותיהם ברקיע, כרצונו קורא יום ולילה, כולל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור, ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות, צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים.
Page 150, 151. Avat Olam Beit Yisrael, as you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. As you turn to page 152, 153, invite us to take a deep breath in. Exhaling out. One more deep breath in as you breathe in that sense of shalom. And exhale out all the mishagas.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Let's join together. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha vehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. continue together in the English. Bottom of the page. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God.
Page 157. We join together on the top of the page. Standing on the shores of history, we still believe what we were taught. Before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Page 158.
Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
Yeah. Page 160, 161.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu l'shalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu l'shalom. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu l'shalom.
Page 162. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from work and was refreshed.
V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam, berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Uvayom hashvi'i Shavat vayinafash.
We continue with our tefillah on pages 164, 166, and probably 168, just for good measure. Please rise if you're able.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi tehillatcha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu ve'imoteinu. Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'zocher chastei avot ve'imahot, u'mevi ge'ula livnei v'neihem, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. Page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. We join together on the bottom page 175. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, and our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'odcha levadcha be'ir'ah na'avod. Page 177, we join together on the top of the page. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha na'eh lehodot. Page 179. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul. May the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people and all people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael ba'shalom. As we take now a few minutes for silent reflection.
shalom. Bimroma, ose shalom. Bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Oh, say shalom. Bimroma. Oh, say shalom. Bimroma. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Oh, say shalom. Bimroma. Oh, say shalom. Bimroma. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu.
We now focus our energies toward those who are ill and in need of healing. That healing may be a physical one, a spiritual one, or a mental one. On this Shabbat, we think of Sel Mendez, Chana Bat Miriam, Eliana Bat Chana, Bob Bell, Robert Berg, Dr. Arnold Berliner, Sandy Beinstock, Barry Brown, Rich Burns, Esther Burton, Dr. Ed Kahn, Chu Chi, Talia Surowski, Sandra Cohen, Dina Courtwright, Bunny Fisher, Carolyn Franklin, Holly Fugit, Marcia Geezer, Marina Gaffney, Sharon Jenkin, Harry Glaze, Charlene Griffin, Ted Guglin, Olivia Hand, Linda Harris, Dr. Gary Height, Laura Jacobson, Jesse Jessen, Jenny Johnson, Mimi Jones, Rosie Gurman, Jane Kalp, Melissa Katz, Evelyn Katz-McCosker, Mark Kusanovich, Deborah Lanning, Shirley Lerner, Carol Lesage, Lior Batginia, Litia Leos, Bobby Lotman, Austin Lucero, Janice Lucero, Gerald Maddox, Ariana Madison, Harlan Madison, Ellen McCaslin, Vivian Cooper Moore, Gunther Myberg, Brad Parkins, Gabrielle Pollock, Gladys Popolo, Stephanie Rasmussen, Linda Rogers, Gordon Robinson, Laura Danoff Robinson, Devon Ross, Dolores Sams Hoy, Harriet Saltzman, Gary Sanders, Laura Sanders, Malachi Sorensen, Donna Shine, Eileen Sweet, Donna Thyman, Tham Tai Trang, Gina Thrower, Kara Thayer, Steve Umecki, Teresa Walsh, Jeannie Watson, Marty Weisberg, Nancy Weisenfeld, Sue Witten, Sherman Wong, Yaakov Ben Ada, Brandon Yarkin, Madison Zales, and everyone who is suffering from coronavirus. If you wish to add another name to our healing list, I invite you to raise your hand. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We wish upon those who we named and those remain unnamed, a refuah shlema, a speedy and complete recovery, as we join together in Debbie Friedman's Misha Berach, page 371, 371.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishe Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Ready to study a little Torah?
Of course you are. Of course you are.
All right, so you have the sheets that were out there with me. It's been a while on a Friday night to study some Torah. So this particular week's Parshat Tzav from the book of Leviticus. It's an interesting portion. In fact, it's the introduction to really, if you think about the first 7 chapters of Leviticus, this is the second Parsha of Leviticus, the first 7 chapters of Leviticus are like an operator's manual for priests on how to conduct sacrifices. And that's basically what we see in this portion as well. So if you take a look at the very beginning, I love showing people where a Torah portion's name comes from. So if you take a look in the Hebrew, there are 1, 2, including the compound word, we'll say there's 4 words, actually 5. Then you have 2 dots. That's the end of the first verse in the Hebrew. Then you'll see 2 letters. It's a tzadi and a vav. Tzav is how you say that. That's the name of the Torah portion. So it comes here, you have Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, which is a very common beginning, which says, and God said to Moses, saying, literally that's what that means, Tzav, which is imperative form of command. The shoresh, the root, we use for mitzvah. Like bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah, a mitzvah. What does mitzvah mean? Right. We say good deed. It's not like you're wrong, but that's kind of the Yiddishized version of it. That's the Yiddishized version. Really, mitzvah means divine commandment or commandment. That's really what it means. Then you see in that same verse a very interesting phrase, Torat Ha'olah. Torat Ha'olah, which they translate here, I don't think it's a good translation, the ritual. It says, this is the ritual of the burnt offering. So you know what we're talking about. It actually, I think, Torah is a nice time to tell me, what does Torah really mean? A lot of people think it means law, and that's wrong. Torah is based on the shoresh, the root of yud, vav, resh, yoreh, and it means instruction. So that phrase, Torah Ta'olah, would mean the instruction of Olah, which is the burnt offering. That's what that really would mean, not the law of or the ritual of. Then it goes on to say, the burnt offering itself shall remain where it is burnt upon the altar all night until morning, while the fire in the altar is kept going on it. So the question would be, what the heck, all day? Aren't sacrifices supposed to be done during the daylight? Why throughout the night? Any guesses why these particular sacrifices, not all of them, why these animal sacrifices would be throughout the night? See if anyone can guess what it is. Go for it, Lana. So people could see the smoke. I like that idea, but that's not it. Great idea, though. I like it. It's already like heavier than what it really is. So what are they burning? Fat. That's what takes a long time. It would literally take all night for the fat. Isn't that gross? Yeah. That's why in the Reform movement, we don't believe in bringing back the good old days of sacrifices. Actually, truth be told, modern Orthodox don't want it either. The third verse, the priest shall dress in linen raiment. Linen raiment. Interesting. What's a linen raiment? Do you know what this is? Well, if you took a look at Exodus chapter 28, verses 40 through 42, you'd get the answer. What does it mean here? It means tunic, a sash, a turban, and your breeches. Those are the four things. 4 parts. That what says linen raiment, that's what they mean. And it says it all there. He shall take off his vestments and put on other vestments and carry the ashes outside the camp to a clean place. The fire on the altar shall be kept burning, not to go out. Every morning the priest shall feed wood to it, lay out the burnt offering on it, and turn into smoke the fat parts of the offering of well-being. And here we go. Pretty important coming up. Verse 6 states, a perpetual fire shall be kept burning on the altar, not to go out. Interesting. Is there anything that still exists that reminds us of that in the sanctuary? Exactly, right? So the Ner Talmid is based on that idea as well. Just like the Ner Talmid, which some would say is the idea of keeping Judaism alive, that it's always alive. And that's the kind of one of the symbolisms. Another one we've talked about over the years is the Ner Talmid is kind of a physical example of God's presence, that God's always with us, and it's a sign of that. And we need physical things to remind us of God's presence, even if our theology doesn't quite match that. But let's continue with just 2 more verses because we're going to have some fun here. Okay, maybe not. And you must not consume any blood, either of bird or of animal, in any of your settlements. Anyone who eats blood shall be cut off from his kin. What is that about? Well, actually, Neil and I were talking earlier. I was raised in a home where I thought steak was supposed to be like charcoal. I didn't like it at all. So I'm in rabbinic school, as I should be, in Cincinnati, Ohio, and my friend Joe says to me, okay, Dana, we're going to go into Kentucky, and we're going to go to a steak place. I'm going to order you a steak, and you're just going to close your eyes, and you're going to eat what I order you and not say a word. Well, he did that, and I had a rare steak for the first time. I thought, oh, that's what it's supposed to taste like. Oh, I thought it was a whole nother ballgame. A whole nother ballgame. But that's interesting, right? Because what's the issue of blood? What is the issue of blood in our tradition? Why is it taboo here? Neil? That's an interesting parallel, right? The mark of the doorposts is blood. Not the answer, but it's a good idea. Bam, that's it, Jax. Blood is life. It's viewed as life force. Well, life force would be kind of God's presence too. So in essence, you're drinking God or drinking life force. Not okay. So traditionally, one would not drink blood, and therefore you would kosher it. And the process would be broiling it till it's charcoal or salting it, which is really bad for us, so that you get rid of all the blood. That's right. What? That's exactly right. But that's kind of par for the course, because you can have any blood, so they salted up the kazoo, which is not good. There's just nothing left of it. That's right. Exactly. Now, I have to say, just while we're on the topic, that there's a misconception that kosher means the animal is treated appropriately. That's not always true. And in fact, the emeritus rabbi at Shecharash, myself, Melanie Aaron, and I, about 15, 18 years ago, there was a big controversy in the United States. There were 2 major kosher houses that had terrible practices in what they did. I'm not going to say it now. It's Shabbos. You don't need to hear the details. But it wasn't right. And it was allowing animals to really suffer. And so we made it a big stink that from Kosher from those places, in our mind, was not kosher. That's not kosher. And so we made it a huge issue in the community. Leave it to the 2 Reform rabbis in the community to talk about that, about kosher. And I'll say that even now when you look at kosher, that's something I would consider. I would really look at where it comes from and how it's treated, which is why I kind of like what Whole Foods does, which is it tells you where it comes from, the animal, and how it was treated, actually, if you look it up, which is super, super important. And while we're on that subject, I would suggest that being Jewish means we struggle with eating meat, actually. Traditionally, one would eat meat once a week on Shabbos. And then it felt like it became this three times a day thing in our society. And truth be told, it's really not meant for that. It's really meant for special occasions. Why? Because you'd put it through a lot of treatment to get to eating it, right? Because the meat was actually eaten by the priests, the sacrifice, a lot of it. It was the fat that literally went up. Why? Because smoke goes up to God. They literally, think of this image, literally have this idea that God's nostrils are smelling us, right? This idea. And that's why the sacrifices were done that way. So the blood taboo, I think, is really interesting because it also connects a little bit to a rejection of pagan cults that the Israelites were experiencing. Our ancestors were pagans, and as a way to separate out from paganism, there were 2 things in this portion alone. One is the idea of sacrificing to God, not the many gods, one God. That was part of it. But also it was a statement of blood. We were making a very different statement. Pagans had blood in their rituals quite often. In the Jewish tradition, it was like, no, the purpose of this only is for God and for sacrifices. So it was a reinterpreting, a reforming, if you will, of that idea. Neil, you want to say something? Go for it. Let's let it...
Okay. Could that last sentence be the basis for the Jehovah's Witnesses' refusal to have transfusions or blood transfusions? Because you're taking blood into your body and you're violating...
See, I think you're being too logical already. I think that makes sense what you're saying. I think for that one, it's a statement of faith for them. God will take care of me. I don't need to add anything. What? So maybe that exact thing what he's saying. Absolutely. Yeah. We talk about Jews. What? No, it works well for our people, doesn't it? It absolutely does. So it's interesting that really the halachic idea of blood comes from this portion. This is where it comes from. And the Talmud then spells it out even more about, you can put that we're doing Kiddush out there. Yeah. Sorry, that was Oliver doing signals to me. So it's interesting, from this, we get this whole piece of halakha. So why is all this stuff about eating meat and cheese and all this, where this comes from? Well, from one line comes a lot of stuff, and that's what the Talmud is. We'll get some more specifics later on in this portion, actually, because we're also entering what's called the Holiness Code in the Torah, and that's a much older part of the Torah, and does deal with issues of holiness, which will be about kashrut, which this is the beginning of. So with that, this is for you to study, take home with you. You should read it over a little bit, and if you have questions, you know how to get me. Well done. And now it's time for the one and only, the one and only Lana Smith, member of our Board of Trustees and Zigzag Chairperson. Want to do it from here?
Can I do it from here? Yeah. Whoops, get rid of this thing. Sorry. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
My name is Lana Smith, and on behalf of Temple Emanu-El's Board of Trustees, I am pleased to welcome you to our Erev Shabbat service led by Rabbi Dana Magat and Cantor Leah Shafritz. After services, please join us in the Temple House
Yes.
for Kiddush, Hamotzi, and Oneg. Tonight's Oneg is sponsored by Yvonne Nemec in memory of Curtis Cagg and Robin Feynman Marino in memory of her mother, Shirley Feynman. Sunday morning, our Musar Torah Studies group will meet on Zoom. Also Sunday evening at 7 p.m., Sisterhood is hosting a virtual chocolate tasting. I don't think the chocolate's virtual. You actually get it. On Tuesday at noon, join the rabbi for his weekly Zoom chat. And on Wednesday, the rabbi will be leading his Lunch and Learn, which you can join either in person or on Zoom. Looking ahead, Passover comes right at the heels of Purim. So after 2 years of Passover at home, think about joining our in-person second night Seder on Saturday, April 16th at 5 p.m. All members will be receiving a Passover bag this year. If you can help pack bags on Sunday, March 27 at 12:30, please contact Iris in the main office. And speaking of Passover, if you are wondering what to do with your leftover matzah, wonder no more. Zigzag is coming to your rescue with another great Passover cooking show. This one is called Latza Matzah, and all the recipes use, wait for it, matzah. What's more, we have a celebrity cast of cooks, including 2 of the people on the bima today. The only 2 people on the bima today. That's a hint. Airing at 7 p.m. on Thursday, March 31st, please register on the Temple website. A new book club is starting. The Zigzag Jewish Nonfiction Book Club, led by Nat Cohen, will hold its inaugural discussion on Zoom at 7 p.m. on Sunday, April 24. I'm announcing this early because, of course, you've got to read the book. The book will be The Choice, a mind-blowing memoir of surviving Auschwitz by Edith Eger. Please register on the Temple website. And I have the book with me, obviously, if you want to take a look at it. We hope to see you again virtually next Shabbat for our Shabbat at Home on Zoom at 6:30 p.m. Shabbat Shalom. How do I turn this off? Just leave it.
We continue the lane on page 586. Please rise if you're able.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'tet kedula liotzer breshit, shehu noteh shamayim v'yotzer haaretz, u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim mimal, u'shchinatu zo b'govhei meromim, u'Eloheinu ein od, va'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני ושמו echad.
We now come to the moment in our service when we think about members of our family and our community who've died recently and in years past. Upon hearing the name of your loved one, if you choose to, invite you to stand as a sign of love and grief for that person and remain standing until the names on our yahrzeit list have been recited. Then together we will all rise. On this Shabbat, we're mindful of those that are grieving the Shiva, the first week of mourning for Richard Beriesi, beloved husband of Charlotte Beriesi. We also think of those that are grieving the Shloshim, the 30-day period of mourning for Miriam Mickey Prezant Looper, Rabbi Marty Weiner, Ruth Kahn. We also think of those that are grieving the Shana, the first year mourning for James Atlas, Leon Averick, Michael Barco, Brenda Bosch, David Berg, Pauline Anderson Berkowitz, Carol Bitter, Denise Blue, Hy Birdman, Phyllis Birdman, Curtis Cage, Mary Cage, Alexander Cunningham, Norma Deshotsky, Carol Everett, Mervyn Feinstein, Alan Garshon, Lubov Katsis, Richard Gersten, Charles Green, Cirilio Guerra, Estella Guerra, former president of our congregation, Phil Hammer, Judy Fisher-Harrington, Deborah Katzman, Hal Lax, Maxine Mutnick, Michael Meltzer, Barry Miller, Roberta Stivelman Newman, Patricia Orozco, Richard Peterson, Len Pomerantz, Colin Powell, Arlene Ravel, Corinne Ravel-Retchen, Stanley Rosen, Betty Rossman, Joe Russo, Jane Sargent, Rosalind Schwartz, Arnold Schaffritz, Bill Shepard, Marilyn Siller, Jerry Turchin, Ruben Morgan, Marty Weisblatt, Millie Wolfson, Lucy Young, Laura Ziffer. We also think of the yard sites we observe on this Shabbat as we think of Shirley Applebaum, Dorothy Bennett, Olga S. Berman, Gail Kahn, Roy Robert Creech, Arlene Barbara Crystal, Maurice Engelman, Shirley Feynman, Ben Finkel, Bernice Foster, Faye Genzel, Leo Gordon, Edith Green, Larry Grossman, Marilyn Hecht, Bob Hirsch, former president of our congregation, Albert Hofheimer, Julius Jackal, Arthur Jones, Paul Kaplan, Judith Ann Karcham, former president of our congregation, Ruth Crandell, Harold Lewell, Ruth Lewis, Jeanette Letvak, Lee Mandel, Rose Mayerson, Alfred Michaelis, Manny Migdal, Aaron Miller, Berna Nainman, Ilan Wynn, Irene Osias, Malka Roll, Leo Roslin, Gussie Rubin, Habib Sahim, Hetty Shore, Meyer Schwab, Thara Selig, Alan Shine, Elliot Sklar, Arnold Schulman, Sidney Silverman, Eugene Snyder, Edward Summer, Rose Spector, Lois Kahn Svigals, Grigori Tenenbaum, Cantor Dave Unterman, Nathan Winter, Howard Weisenfield, Minnie Woldenberg. Zichronam livracha, may all the memories of our loved ones endure as a blessing as we all rise, turning to page 598 to recite together our Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, ve'almad yivrach hirutei ve'amlich malchutei, ve'chayachon v'yomechon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agalav uzman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olamei alamaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha b'richu, Le'alam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran v'elma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlomo rabba meshamaya, v'chayim aleinu v'akol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'asei shalom, aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'nekonidam, v'imru, amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to those who are bereaved among us, wherever they may be, as we say together, amen. We conclude our service with Osei Shalom.
Osei Shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, amen. Yalla ועל כל יושבי תבל באמרו אמן.
Shabbat Shalom. We'll see you now in the Temple House as we continue with Kiddush and Motzi, just like the old days.